Well, we've been waiting for a star to answer the phone, and we were ringing the wrong number. That was a bit silly, wasn't it? 11 minutes past 10 o'clock or 11 minutes past 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. If you're Sally Boyden, good afternoon to you, Sally.
I'm here, we're all here. Good afternoon, Neil. How are you?
Good, thank you. You've already spoken to Grant. Sorry about the mix-up. I had a wrong telephone number written down.
Don't worry about it. We're here now.
There's someone in LA going, who's this person who's rung me 48 times? That's all right. Hey, welcome to the show. We heard a track a little while ago while we were trying to find you by a person called Little Sally Boyden off an album called The Little Australian. You've come a long way since then. We played the Unicorn of all songs.
Right, so go on.
No, we played the Unicorn.
Oh, the Unicorn, that's a lovely song.
Isn't it, though?
I remember recording that. We used to record at TCS, which was behind Channel 9. We used to do vocals there on a Wednesday night, and then when I went on to do my albums, I recorded there as well.
Excellent. And on the long-lost Hamard album label. That takes you back, doesn't it?
Yeah. Good old Sino Gazzardi. Hi, Sino, if you're around, if you're listening.
Hey, listen, we better go all the way to the start and find out how a 7-year-old, I think you were, got involved in television.
Well, it's kind of a well-known story, but I don't mind telling it again because it's funny. I was not we weren't showbiz at all. My mum was a model, my dad was a car salesman, and we used to go to the football every week, and Dad knew John Young from the social club. They weren't great friends, but they sort of knew each other to say hello. And one day John said to Dad, "Can Sally sing?" And Dad said, "I have no clue." So anyway, on the way home, Dad said, "Can you sing?" So I said, "No, but Mandy can." Mandy, that's Amanda. Hi, Amanda, if you're listening. She's got a beautiful voice. I said, "No, but Mandy can." Anyway, November rolled around, and Dad said, "You've got an audition, like tomorrow or something, for Young Talent Time." And I'd watched the show, but I used to watch the football. I was a massive football fan, and it was opposite.
Oh, yeah.
TT used to actually ended up beating the ratings, which was the football ratings, which was wild. So I knew of it, but I wasn't I knew who everyone was, but I didn't watch it every week. So I sang a song called Papa, which I was about the only thing I knew to. I just loved.
From Oliver?
I knew how to sing that. Yeah. And I wore a little dress that I'd worn in a previous Christmas pageant or something, and I could hold a tune, but I could dance, and I think that's what nailed it. And I had the job on the spot, didn't think about it, marched all around, and went off to rehearsals, and the rest is history. Wild, hey? Absolutely.
We spoke to Bevan Adensel a few weeks back, one of the other Young Talent Time alumni.
Hi, Bevan.
Yeah, no, he is. I think he is going to listen. So, good day, Bevan. How are you going? I know he used to live in the sort of eastern suburbs, not very far from Channel 10. My understanding is you lived in Essendon or something. Is that right?
Yeah, we lived in Essendon, and then they moved to Kew, but I was already in London by then.
Okay, because
grew up in Essendon, gal.
It's a long drive from Essendon to Nunawading to do all the things I suspect you had to do during the week.
Oh, I just took it in my stride. I mean, I wasn't expecting what happened because I didn't know the rehearsals were every night of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday recording at TCS, like I mentioned. And then Thursday, Friday, we have the director would come, and then Saturday, Saturday we'd go out to Nunawading, and we'd do 2 camera run-throughs, and then change, makeup, and then live tour at 6:30. So it was a big week, and then I had Sunday to catch up on homework and back to... And we did about 38 shows a year, maybe, and then we go on tour. So I didn't really have a summer for the whole time I was there, but I loved it. I loved the work, and the thing I loved most about YTT was the camaraderie. I mean, it's nothing like that. We just all adored each other, the kids, and that's just a lovely. It's like being in a band. We looked out for each other. It was great.
Did you get a sense of how popular the show was, Sally, because you were working so much?
I did when it was interesting because Derek joined with me, but he was Jamie's little brother, so people sort of were more familiar with that. But the first day I went to school on Monday, it was different, and then it got, as my career progressed and when I had my albums out, it got kind of hard for me to go down the street and all the cliche things you hear about being famous. That I didn't like so much. But then I did have a couple of great friends from school. One lady, Cherie Etheridge. Hi, Cherie. Great friend. We're still friends. Another guy, Melissa Reimer. I've still got a few from school because they were really nice to me. The kids weren't I really, now as an adult, looking back, I don't think they knew how to react to me. In fact, a few of them have said, we didn't really know what to do. And I wasn't allowed to go to, not allowed, I wasn't able to go to slumber parties, couldn't go to parties on the Saturday, birthday parties on a Saturday because I was Nunawading at Channel O, then on Channel O. And so I didn't really see them that much. And then when it got to my teens and I was spending a lot of time in America, I wasn't there hardly. I mean, I'd be away for terms at a time. And then I'd waltz in, for the last term. And then I'd be back off again. So but I mean, it was an incredible time. I've had an amazing life. I mean, everything that's happened to me. I feel not just fortunate enough to be alive after that accident, but just I've had some incredible experiences, and none of it would have happened without Young Talent Time.
And a lot of people, little Sally Boyden, as we keep on referring to you as in those days, was everywhere you turned. And there's someone who I share a house with who was apparently the world's biggest Sally Boyden fan. Gabrielle said to say hello to you today.
Thanks for that.
And apparently your favourite food was roast lamb, according to the letter that you sent her when she was about the same, well, she's the same age as you, so when she was 10, and your birthday's the 21st of May. I've been told that as well. But after that, you kind of disappeared, didn't you? Do a few albums, but did you go to the US? Is that where you kind of disappeared to?
Well, I didn't really disappear. I wasn't in Australia, but I'd done a movie in Sydney with Sid Caesar and Juliette Mills, and I played Juliette's daughter. And the producer, Matt Herman, said, you should come to America. Excuse me again. You should come to America to get representation, to get an agent. And I did. And I got the job on the Waltons the first day I arrived in Hollywood, which was ridiculous. Because Betty McCart, who was my agent until she passed away, God bless her, rest in peace, she... it's kind of a long story, we'll take up the whole time, but I met her and then we got a call about the Waltons thing. It was all completely coincidental. And I had the part, I got to LA at 6 in the morning, I had the part by 5:30 on the same day.
All these people are going struggle and Sally just walks in straight away, no problem. It's a great story.
But I mean, that doesn't happen. That was a fluke. And I didn't think, this happens to everybody. I just thought, okay. I was very matter of fact, even as a child. I was very like, okay, so I've got the job, and now when do I start? What do I have to prepare for?
So how old were you at this time, Sally?
I just was always very, very sort of accepting, okay, this is my job, and that's what I do.
And what age are you at this stage?
Like that. Me, I'm 59.
No, as when that was happening.
Yeah.
I've been in show business 52 years. It was only about 6 months ago that I said to George, my beloved husband, I said, my God, people usually celebrate 50 years in showbiz. I forgot 9. 1.5. Okay. Oh, well, fair enough. Yeah. Oh, wow, hey?
Yeah, and so the Waltons did a couple of movies over there as well, is that right? Have I got something around Lassie in my head?
Then did the Lassie 2-hour ABC Sunday night Christmas special, which was a big deal. I got that, I just auditioned for that and I got it. That was fun. And then I did probably the best movie I ever did, the best acting thing I ever did, called The Little Dragons, which was directed by Curtis Hanson. It was his first film, and he went on to do LA Confidential, won an Oscar for the writing, and also 8 Mile with Eminem. And I saw him. He came to see me when I played the Viper Room here in LA, and he died not long afterwards. But he was a wonderful man, and that was probably I can't say my best experience because I've only ever had good experiences acting. But that was really kind of a special shoot, and my mum was with me, which was nice because it used to be Dad, and then Mum and the kids would be at home, and then this time Mum came with me, and we had a wonderful 3 months together. Just her and I kind of made up for lots of time. And then after that, I did Sound of Music pretty much straight after that. And no, a few years later, because then I came back to the Sullivans. I did Skyways, the Sullivans. I did Come Midnight Monday, High Speed Comey and Jackie Gordon. And then I did Dead Man's Flow with Rick Ireland. Hi, Rick, and Jackie again, and Greg Rowe from Storm Boy. And then I did Sound of Music for 1.5 years with Julie Anthony. That was amazing. Melbourne, Adelaide and Sydney. And then I moved to London a month after that finished in 84.
And when you were in London, you were doing songwriting for EMI, am I right?
Yes, I got a contract with EMI. I was only there 3 months. I've been writing songs since I was 4, believe it or not. And before I was on telly, I never wanted to be famous. I wanted to be a songwriter. I made my mind up when I was about 6 or 7 because we had a piano in the house. There always was music in our house, which was wonderful. And I just could hear things in my head, and I started sort of writing them down. I didn't have a voice recorder on my phone like I used to, like I do now. And that was going to be my career. And then I kind of got sidelined, but it was always songwriter. Because, I mean, I coped with being famous, but it was never my dream to be a star. But it kind of kept finding me, if you know what I mean. So when I got to London, I got a songwriting deal very quickly, and I wrote songs for David Cassidy, Leo Sayer, Shakin' Stevens, and then the Bangles wanted to do one of my songs, Naked December, and I wouldn't let them have it, which was...
Oops.
But I won't go into that. And then I just kept writing, and then, of course, working with Duran Duran has been amazing. I've been working with them for over 20 years, off and on, but I did 3 albums with them, and I've been on tour with them a couple of times. And but songwriting is what I'm now still doing all the time.
Do you get ideas in the middle of the night and just jot them down? Is that how it works, or do you have to work at it?
You can't predict it. It happens the weirdest times. A lot of it happens when I'm swimming. Oh, this is a funny story. One of the best songs I ever wrote, called After All, that I've ever written to this date. I was swimming in a pool in Melbourne, in St Kilda. I used to live in East St Kilda. And it was so good that the girls knew me because I used to swim every day. And I said to the girls, can you put a pen and a pad at the end of each of the... And they did. So I swim along writing the lyric, and I can hear the tune in my head. It always comes at once. I can hear the tune and the lyric, or at least the idea for the song. If they're good, it keeps going. So I'm swimming down the lap, Neil, and I get up and I go... Next line. That was hilarious. And but no, it comes... When I'm doing the dishes, nature helps. There's a little canyon where we live, and I go for walks there, and I always take my phone with me and sing into it. Or I can just be doing anything. You can't predict it. I don't sit down like a lot of songwriters do and try and write a song like every single day. I don't do that. I just wait for it to come to me. Or not even wait for it. I just don't think about it, and then, okay, here we go.
Because I think famously Neil Diamond and Carole King used to work the Brill Building, I think, in New York, and they would go into work every morning and sit down with a pen and paper and write songs. And I don't know how you do that. I think it would be much more likely what you're describing.
Well, see, I would have loved to have been around in those days to have an actual place to go every single day and have that be my actual job. But those days are over. But no, you'd be surprised because I went on a songwriting. Not a retreat. Well, it kind of was for 10 days when I was in England, in London, just outside of London. And you woke up every day. There were all different people there. One guy, Chris Braid, who you'd know his songs if you heard them, he's become huge. And you write with a different person each day. And we always wrote something, some better than others. But it can be done. But that's not the way I work in my own life. I don't work like that. I've got an idea. What are we today? Friday, Sunday night. I said to George, I've had a new idea, and I'd sung it into my phone. But I think, just for me personally, everyone works differently. For me personally, it works better when I don't think about it, if you know what I mean.
Because the best songs just flow, don't they?
Yeah. It is the best feeling. I mean, for me, I got a buzz singing with Duran, and my own concerts, I was concentrating very hard. So, but I enjoyed them. But writing a song, for me, is the most enjoyable part of being a musician.
I remember asking Graham Goebel from the River Band.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Graham Goebel.
Yeah, which would you prefer, to record the best song ever or to write the best song ever? And he said,
I do so.
Yes, both.
Yes.
Just looked across the desk at me and said, yes, both. I thought, yeah, no, good work, well played. So when you write a song, do you think to yourself, this has got Duran Duran written all over it, or this has got, Shakin' Stevens written? Do you sort of, when you're writing it, are you also picturing it being performed by someone?
It depends. When I was asked to write for Shakin' Stevens, I had him in mind.
Yeah.
I knew a couple of his songs, and I was familiar with him, so I did kind of write in his vibe, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The song that David Cassidy performed, I actually wrote that. I wrote that before I even got my publishing deal. And I didn't have anyone in mind, and it wasn't until about 2 years after I'd done the demo of it that he recorded it. So it varies. I mean, if my publisher called me tomorrow and said, "Will you write a song for such and such?" I would have that person in mind. But then I've actually got some songs that I know would be perfect for other artists.
Yeah.
I've been going through my catalogue recently, and I'm like, I've got to get in touch with them. Yeah.
Have any of them changed the demo that you put forward? Like, you had a different slant on the song?
Well, David Cassidy. I mean, I don't like to speak when he's not around anymore. Rest in peace. But he messed with my lyrics and then took a third of the publishing, and he didn't write any of the music. And the lyrics that he changed to, he just repeated the same lyrics in the verse and the verse.
Mm.
That kind of annoyed me a bit. Now, he used half of my verse and then put these sort of lines that weren't as good as mine, but of course I'm going to say that because they were mine. I was just happy that I had a song out and it was a single. And that was in October of my first year. I moved to London in February the 5th, 84. Now, that must have been later that year. I was just, tickled pink that I had a song out. I was thrilled with that.
And I guess growing up in the age group that you did, David Cassidy would have been a bit of a teenage heartthrob, wouldn't he?
Not for me. I didn't have time to do that kind of stuff.
Oh, and that's a good point. Yeah.
And Christopher Atkins, there was a sort of a press invented the fact that him and I were going out, which was never the case. We just liked each other. And also, when I was growing up in Australia, I wasn't at school much, so I didn't get after the school dances and things. So I didn't really get that teenage lesson in learning if a guy likes you.
Oh, okay.
I could never pick up on, I didn't have that side of me at all. Probably not until I was in my 20s.
Okay.
I think when I first went to London, if someone liked me, someone was a girlfriend and say, "He likes you," I'm like, "What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about."
Seems like a nice fella.
I didn't have posters on my wall. Oh no, I did love Starsky. I love Paul Michael Glaser.
Oh yeah, yeah, but that was predominantly around the cardigan, wasn't it?
Well, no, it was what was inside for me. I was very innocent. I never had boyfriends at school. I never, not until I was in my 20s did I start dating anybody. I was a late bloomer.
So, Sally, how long since we've seen you in Melbourne?
I was last in Melbourne in 2008, which is a long time. I was living in New York at the time, and I came back to see my lovely niece Daisy, and also I had some family business which I won't go into. I was there for about 11 weeks that time, which was nice. And I got to see my friend Robin. Hi, Robin, if you're listening. And Nick Buffalo. Hi, Nick. So I was there for a while, so that was good. But I was keeping pretty much a low profile. I just saw my friends and my family.
Yeah.
And I haven't been back since. I went back to New York, and then I moved to LA in 2000 and late 2010, and I've been here ever since.
Just quickly, Sally, I did want to ask you about your accident in London. I was reading about it online yesterday. How do you reflect on that?
How do I reflect on it? That's a great question. No one ever asks me that. Well, I learned a lot from it. Well, the good part is that I survived. And as I said, I'm better than I've ever been. I'm probably stronger and healthier now than I ever was, but I've worked at it. Well, you can't predict the future and you can't change the past. I mean, every day now, nothing really much shocks me. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You really never know what's around the corner. In my situation down the street, because it hit me from behind. I did see it. I turned it. Oh, God. I did. When my friend who I was with called me, her name is Sarah, and she went, "Sally," and then I turned around and I saw it coming, and the second I turned my head back, I remember the impact. Don't remember anything until I woke up from the coma 12 days later. How I reflect on it, obviously, I'd like to think I never took life for granted, but I really don't take it for granted now. I do treasure every moment. And I'm going to sound like a Hallmark card, but I find a lot of pleasure in small things. Like when I go for my walks, if I see a beautiful flower. I know I sound corny, but I mean, I think people who have had a near-death experience or something like I've been through or lost a loved one, you start appreciating everything. Every tiny little thing can make my day.
Excellent. Well, you've made our day. And I know one listener in particular, you've made her day.
Hi, Gabrielle. Hi, Gabrielle. Right back to you.
Thank you so much for taking some time out of your Friday afternoon to speak with us. I was set a challenge, you understand, to find Sally Boyden, and I'm so pleased I have. I'm so pleased to have made your acquaintance over the last couple of weeks, and look forward to keeping in touch going forward.
How did you find me now?
On Facebook.
Oh, you found me on Facebook. Oh, okay. Well, Facebook can be great, hey?
And Sally was just giving me a little go of the area that she lives in.
Yeah.
When I was not far from there on my trip earlier this year. So next time I'll drop in, Sally.
Please do. You have my phone number now.
Thank you.
We've got two to choose from. Thank you so much, Sally, and enjoy the rest of your Friday evening, and we'll be in touch.
All righty.
Thank you.
Guys. You have a great weekend.
Thanks.
Bye, buddy. Bye.
Bye. That was Sally Boyden.